What makes a place worthy of being called one of the seven wonders of the ancient world? It's not just size, it's the story. And this one begins with Artemis. This version of Artemis is a little different from the Greek goddess of the hunt you might know. Here in Ephesus, she took on a powerful local form, rooted in ancient Anatolian traditions. Her stance is strong and grounded. She's not shown in motion, she's still, commanding, almost otherworldly. Her robe is covered in detailed symbols and sacred animals that point to fertility, protection, and abundance. And across her chest are rows of bulb-like shapes. Scholars have debated their meaning for centuries. Some say they're breasts, others think they might be eggs or even bull testicles. But no matter the interpretation, they all point to one idea: life. This Artemis wasn't just a huntress. She was a mother to all, the guardian of nature and the giver of life. Her elaborate headdress resembles a temple itself, linking her directly to the sacred space built in her honor. This is a scale model of the Temple of Artemis, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. In its time, the real temple was a marvel, not just because of its size, but because of what it represented. It stretched about 377 feet long and 180 feet wide. That's longer than a football field and nearly twice as wide. The temple was surrounded by 127 marble columns, each nearly 60 feet tall, about the height of a six-story building. And it wasn't just massive, it was incredibly detailed. The walls and upper sections were decorated with sculpted friezes. Those are horizontal bands of artwork that wrapped around the structure like a ribbon. These carvings told stories from mythology and reflected the culture's connection to the divine. Construction began around 550 BC, funded by Croesus, the famously wealthy king of Lydia. Over time, the temple was damaged and rebuilt by fire, by conquest, and eventually by religious conflict. The final destruction came in 401 AD, when a Christian mob, inspired by John Chrysostom, a fierce critic of paganism, who would later become the Archbishop of Constantinople, tore it down in an effort to erase the old gods. While only pieces remain today, this model gives us a glimpse into just how extraordinary it once was and how much it meant to the people who built it. This is the actual place of the Temple of Artemis. Not much left. It's been pilfered. You can see by the size of the guys down here how big that column is, how tall it is. That's obviously not the original. I'm sure that that's been put back together some way, shape, or form, but who knows if that's the actual height. It might have been shorter. We don't know. And there's a stork nest up on top. That's what those nests are. Let's go down here and see what else we can see. So the morning sun is behind me, which usually they had openings facing into the sun. Is really, this just doesn't, again, make sense. Ephesus, I think, was pilfered so heavily over the centuries and 2,500 years. Well, this would have been 1,500 years. There's just nothing left. However, that wall looks like it could be part of an old foundation of something. And I'm pretty sure these columns were placed here over time. So here's remnants. This is a free site. There's no fees to get in here. You could tell it's not been upkept at all. If these little columns were the inside columns, these rather large pieces were the outside columns. And if there was about 110 of these, I can't get far back enough without falling down a ravine here. But these are massive, massive pieces. And if they built them in sections to make it look, yeah, this is easily 6 feet across about. They had the centerpiece, so they would use that to connect these pieces to make them like that. Again, there's no way to know if that's the actual height of these pieces, but if it was, what a massive monumental construction effort. We're going to go up this path and see if we can get a better idea of where the foundation was. Way in the back here, you can see the mosque and the citadel that were up. You can catch that video. I'll leave that at the end of this video, you can click on that link and see what's up there. And here's their lawnmower that keeps the area clean. Again, this looks pretty flat up here. This could have been the foundation. If that was a temple, maybe the model was wrong, but there sure doesn't look like there could have been 110 of those. That's just too many. So we have our escort cat, and then we have the dog. So everybody's looking for their breakfast. There are site protectors here. So they're just watching over the Temple of Artemis, ancient. So based on the model, I don't see how they would have fit 110 columns in there. If there was 10 wide, you can see the guy down here. If there were 10 of those size columns going from right to left over there, 3 deep maybe, but there sure is a lot of foundational stuff missing here, and it just, again, it doesn't make sense. We got a mean dog to our back. There's a fence. Hopefully this guy is following us. I wish I had something for you, buddy. I don't have any food. I wish I could give him some food for helping. These are remnants of the temple, I'm guessing. I see carvings, I see holes. There's the, what we'll call the connector holes. So this was obviously part of the base, and the cat's going in there for his drink. That's great. But again, how big was this? I do see big remnants everywhere throughout this area. There's quite a bit. There's some over here. Oh, and I see a hole in the ground. Let's see if we can get there. And actually, look at this. Pomegranates. So here's morning pomegranates. Okay, buddy, come on. Let's go this way. There's the wild dogs are everywhere around here. There's a little, what looks like a little Jack Russell. He's gonna be mean. All right, so here's an underground structure. Let's see what we got in this place. This obviously went down quite a bit. Somebody's familiar with these grounds. What's in there? Anything interesting? Our tour guide, I wish I had some leftover food for him. I got nothing. But this structure, I think he's fairly familiar with it. I would think they hide in there when it rains. But this is looking 2nd century AD, based on Ephesus and what we've seen. And here's a pomegranate field. You can actually smell them rotting, just laying on the ground. Thousands of dollars of pomegranate back in the stores, and they're just growing in somebody's backyard. And this is just a total mystery. Without digging down, probably, I'm guessing, 2 meters to really see what's under here. You just can't get a feel for where these foundations were. I'm sure there's some foundation stones somewhere, but there's just not much left. Absolutely not much left here. So I'm trying to calculate roughly where the entrance would have been. The sun, again, we're in the winter, so the summer sun maybe would have had it over. If this was the front door, the front entryway, where I was shooting at the museum into here, this makes sense the way the rocks are, kind of. It's a little off-centered, but again, depending on how they put the rocks back in the work, this was it. So let's go down into the opening here. What might have been the opening, and let's see if we can see anything or even feel any ancient energies. I see some stone. Still, again, there's way below my feet. There's got to be more flooring. And again, how much was pilfered out of here? Just had to be an unbelievable amount of rocks taken. This looks fairly recent, modern. Again, the center. Maybe her statue stood here. Just again, he's just a camera hogger. Are you a photo bomb hog? This young one. She's just merhaba. Hey, I'm just looking for food. All right, let's see if we get away from this cat. I hope it doesn't have fleas. Hopefully not. I see more remnants up there. So, and it says no entrance, but why would they take the energy to lift that stuff up unless the temple was laid out at a different angle? And that's very possible. That is possible. Because I'm looking at that hill. That to me would be the temple. And this is just misplaced because it was easier to work on. But again, you just don't know. Well, it says no entrance. I don't think I want to try to go up there. That, to me, see, this just doesn't work right. Again, it's messed up archaeology. I think people came in and started pilfering stuff, and then people found it, and then it got lost. I mean, it doesn't take long for vegetation to overgrow. I see stones below me. Ah, there's a road. That's what it says, no entrance. But there's columns up there. Why would there be columns up there if the temple is over here? Unless they messed up the layout. So, no entrance. I can see some stones down in the weeds. And again, why would they take the energy to put these huge column pieces up there on that ledge? And it looks like this is terraced through here. That would be a lot of effort unless the temple is not laid out properly and they messed it up and that model was not correct, which could be possible. I mean, again, nobody knows. With all the pilfering going on over the years, this is just a total Ephesus mystery, we'll call it. I don't think anybody truly knows. The only way to know is get some LiDAR over here. Maybe somebody will come up with the money, some private foundation, and help Turkey do that. And then we might actually know what lies underfoot here. All right, that's it for the Temple Artemis. We're going to be moving on. Make sure you click on the video on your screen and you can check out more. Thanks for watching.